You need help on the waiver wire, wide receiver. I'm here to help you with my top 5 pickups that can help you right now. Go out and find these guys if you can. And let's count down with number 5, starting with a name that, well, you're going to be in one of the two camps on this one. You might say, how is this guy available on waivers? Or you might say, why would you pick him up? All right, so let's talk about Michael Gallup, somebody who a lot of high hopes for heading into preseason and into the early part of the season when the Cowboys offense was just taking off. And then, of course, Dak Prescott's unfortunate injury. And so what Cowboys offense are we going to get going forward the rest of the season? We don't even know who the quarterback is going to be, to be honest. Is Andy Dalton going to come back and take that job? Is Garrett Gilbert going to get another chance? So I don't have the answer to that question, but I will tell you, don't give up on Gallup yet. He was dropped in a lot of leagues, and especially heading into this bye week, rightfully so. But you know what? Don't give up, because number one, he actually has had a pretty decent target share the last couple of weeks. 19 targets the last 2 weeks. He had that pretty decent game, all right, a couple of weeks ago, but it's a good matchup this week, because they get Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings, their secondary has been one of the worst, and giving a lot of points to wide receivers. So it just could be that one big play, right? A decent target volume. Gallup could be worth a stream this week if you need help. All right, let's go to number 4 now. And this is a rookie that is making some noise finally. Michael Pittman in Indianapolis had a 100-yard game. There's not many Colts receivers that do that these days. They like to spread the ball around. But you know what? Pittman looks like he might become the wide receiver 1 in that offense for what that's worth. Now, he's not going to become a target hog just because they are going to keep spreading the ball around. They have several receivers, 3 different tight ends they throw to. They throw to the running backs quite a bit. So that kind of limits his upside. But we saw what he did against Tennessee. All right. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but at 6'4", you know, that's a guy that they're going to get involved probably in the red zone sooner rather than later. So we just have to love the upside here. All right. So tough matchup with Green Bay coming up. Tough-ish, I should say. It's not super tough, but you know what? Pittman's a guy you could use, and he should see enough volume going forward to make him playable in PPR leagues. Number 3 is going to be, guy I've been way off on for a while, Josh Reynolds. And, you know, I took the L on this one. I know Chris appreciates that because he did call me out for it. I said never Reynolds. You know what? I had to see it. Well, we kind of saw it, I guess, this past week. He showed up against Seattle. I mean, of course, Seattle's offense is great. Their defense is just horrible. Horrible defense, all right? So that secondary is giving up chunk yards to every receiver that plays against them, including Josh Reynolds. All right, but here's the thing. Even though Reynolds is only the number 3 receiver on his own team, right, he's kind of made some strides going forward. I'm not going to play him in week 11 because he's going against Tampa Bay. That's going to be a much tougher matchup. But here's why I'm interested in Josh Reynolds, and you should be too, because right now you should be prepping for the playoffs. The fantasy playoffs are usually weeks 14 through 16. Look at the schedule. They get the Patriots, the Jets, and the Seahawks those 3 weeks. Just talked about Seattle. You have to stream against them. He gets that matchup again in week 16. If you make it that far, he gets the Jets, who are the Jets. And then the Patriots, you think, well, that's a terrible matchup. It's not. They actually give up the most yards per target to wide receivers all. So if you're looking ahead, which you should be, Josh Reynolds, it might be a smart guy to stash now, even if you don't need him for this next couple of weeks. Do it for the playoffs. All right, my number 2 pickup, though, is going to be a rookie again, and we're talking about Jalen Reagor of Philadelphia. Looking ahead, the next 2 weeks, great matchups also with Cleveland and then Seattle once again. Philadelphia's, offense is kind of starting to gel a little bit. They got their pieces back with Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Reagor, and their schedule down the stretch is actually pretty nice. And here's the thing. Travis Fulgham was a big breakout story, the guy you wanted to add a couple weeks ago. Well, guess what? Jalen Reagor out-targeted him this past game, right? So if he becomes the number 1 guy there, he's the one you should be starting. And Fulgham, I'm not saying straight up bench or drop him just yet, but we're going to have to slow down on the Fulgham hype and really pay attention to Reagor. So he's a guy I think now is the time to add him while you still can. But my number 1 pickup actually of this week is going to be, well, if he's still available, Jakobi Meyers of the Patriots. You've got to get him. Apparently he's still available in about half of all Yahoo leagues. Now's the time to act before everyone figures out he's the number 1 receiver in New England. And you know what? That offense is starting to come together a little bit again. Had a little lull a few weeks ago, but Cam Newton's looking pretty good. Jakobi Meyers actually threw a touchdown yesterday. Didn't have a huge game receiving, but he still helped out. He's still the leading target getter. He's had 9.3 targets and 6.8 receptions per game over the last 4 weeks. That'll play in PPR. I mean, you have to add him if he's available. Do it now. Even if you're really deep at receiver, you do it so somebody else can't do it, right? That's called playing defense in fantasy. All right. So hopefully that helped you out. Again, if you need help at any other position, check out running back, quarterback, tight end episodes on this channel. Hit that subscribe button and you'll catch all of our latest when it drops. All right. Good luck in week 11 and thanks for watching.